One of the most influential voices in the entire XRP world is a man who runs a crypto wealth firm looking after around $1 billion for wealthy families. He has gone on record with a number that sounds completely insane. He says XRP could reach $1,000 a coin. And before you roll your eyes because you've heard wild XRP price targets 100 times, a million times before, understand that this one is built differently. And I wouldn't just bring it up for any other reason. He is not pulling a number out of the air. He is describing a chain of dominoes that says is already started to fall. And the very first one is sitting in none other than Japan. And if you hold XRP, you know the exact feeling he is playing on, okay? You have watched this coin sit there and do nothing while you wait. You sit through a brutal market with your bag deep in the red, wondering if that life-changing number was ever real, if everyone lied to you, or just some people say this thing to you to keep you holding on. Every other $1,000 XRP video is some guy with a microphone and zero reasoning. This is $1 billion money manager laying out an actual machine one step at a time. So I'm going to walk you through the entire theory on this video, one domino at a time, from a loan in Tokyo all the way to your XRP in your wallet. Now, I'm going to build the strongest version of this case that I can because parts of it are genuinely hard to argue with. And then I'm going to show you exactly where it could break. By the end, you're going to be able to decide for yourself whether $1,000 is real or if it's just another beautiful story. Let me walk you through it. Welcome back to the Bullrunners channel, guys. My name is George, and before we get into this, I want to let you know none of this is financial advice. I do this for education purposes only. I'm obsessed in the crypto market, so I research every single day, and then I make content to give you my opinion. Please give me your opinion in the comments. Let's dive into it. The man behind this is Jake Claver. He runs a multi-family office on an investment firm that looks after roughly $1 billion in digital assets. And he is one of the loudest XRP voices in the space. He calls this the domino theory. And the whole thing starts in one corner of the global economy that almost nobody watches. For the last 20-odd years, Japan has kept interest rates on the floor, sometimes even below zero. So big investors all around the world did the obvious thing. They borrowed enormous amounts of money in Japan for almost nothing. They carried it out of the country and then put it to work everywhere else. In US government debt, in stocks, in property, in gold, we're talking tens of trillions of dollars. Borrowed Japanese money parked in basically every market you can name. That is the first domino, and it has been standing quietly for decades.
Over the last 20, 25 years, a lot of people have borrowed a lot of money from the Bank of Japan because it was very cheap to do so. Sometimes even negative interest rates there in Japan. So, basically free money that you could then borrow from the Bank of Japan, and then they didn't make it where you had to keep that in their economy. You could take it other places. So most people have taken that and parked it in treasuries or other stock markets, global real estate, gold and silver, you name it. It's tens of trillions of dollars that have been borrowed from the Bank of Japan and then put to work in different markets globally.
The problem is that this only works while Japan stayed cheap. And in 2024, that started to change. Japan began letting its rates climb. And the moment that happens, everyone who borrowed cheap yen is suddenly walking on a tightrope. If they hold their position, the rising yen eats their gains. If they sell to pay the loan back, they crash the very markets they were invested in. Either way, they lose, right? And the only safe move is to start pulling that money back home to Japan. Now, here is where it gets dangerous for everyone else, because a huge chunk of that borrowed money is sitting in US government debt. As it gets pulled out and sent back to Japan, all of those US treasuries get dumped onto the market at once. And if nobody steps in to buy them, US interest rates spike and America is in serious trouble. So the obvious question is, who on earth observes that flood of debt? Claver's answer is the piece that ties it all together. The stablecoin law that passed in 2025 quietly turned stablecoins into giant buyers of US government's debt, because that is exactly what backs them. The demand that was about to vanish gets replaced just from completely new direction. But he thinks the handoff will not be smooth. And this is where the theory gets generally frightening. If that money rushes back toward Japan faster than anything can absorb it, you get what he calls an Ice 9 moment. Borrowing a term from the analyst Jim Rickards. Picture all the liquidity in the world freezing and rushing in one direction at the same time. Tens of trillions of dollars draining out every market at once. And here's the part that should land for you, because it would not spare anyone. It would not matter whether your money was in stocks, in bonds, in gold, or in crypto. Claver thinks the whole board gets repriced together.
Parties, we will literally have an Ice 9 scenario. Jim Rickards has talked about this. Ice 9 is like an isotope that freezes all the water on the planet. right? Um, that's effectively what would happen to the monetary system when this unfolds at scale, because all of that liquidity will be sucked back one direction. And you can imagine tens of trillions of dollars being sucked out of markets globally.
And a repricing that violent is not only danger. Actually, for a small number of people, it's the single biggest chance they're ever going to get, because moments like this do not reward the people who guessed the right asset. They reward the people who saw it coming and knew exactly what to do in the moment. And that is the uncomfortable truth about a moment like this. Knowing the storm is coming and actually knowing how to trade it, they're two completely different skills. Plenty of people saw 2008 coming and still lost everything, because being right about that means nothing if you get in at the wrong time. The people who come out of a violent repricing richer are almost never the ones with the best theory. They are the ones who know how to read the market, when to step in and when to take profit before the crowd. That's exactly the gap our team set out to close. We're going to work with you one-on-one for 5 months if you decide to take that leap of faith. For everyone that's clicked the link down below and booked a call with one of our coaches, their lives have genuinely been changed. And that's because they used to be ordinary people who were tired of guessing, and finally, now they have someone in their corner who knows the game from the inside. That's the important part, guys. Just hit the link down below. That's how you begin. It's absolutely free training, okay? All you got to do is decide after that if you want to take that leap. If you do, book a call with one of our coaches. A move this size does not wait for anybody. Let me pick the chain back up on the other side of that freeze. So he does not think this is a simple crash that's going to end it. He thinks it ends in a reset, where governments are forced to put something solid back underneath their money. And you can argue we are already watching the early versions of it. Russia have moved back to its currency with gold. Central banks around the world have been quietly stockpiling gold at a record pace. And Klaver's view is that they end up anchoring currencies to hard assets like gold and oil in fixed ratios to stop the whole thing from collapsing. This is where he makes his boldest leap. So I want to be very straight with you about it. He believes that in the new system, XRP gets recognized as a top-tier reserve asset by the people who write the rules for the world's banks, sitting right alongside gold. Now, that is something XRP supporters have argued for years. I've said it many times. And it is not impossible, but I have to be honest with you, there is no confirmation anywhere that the global banking authorities will ever treat XRP that way. That is the single biggest if in the entire theory. And almost the whole price target leans on it. Keep that one in your back pocket. The next domino is one a lot of people would rather not think about, and that is Tether, the biggest stablecoin in the world. Klaver has real doubts about it. He points out that it has never had a full public audit, that a chunk of what is supposed to back it is held in Bitcoin and other assets rather than plain cash, and that war on sanctions could put it under pressure. If a stablecoin that size ever wobbles, he argues that you could get a liquidity crunch on the exchanges, and that hits Bitcoin, and that hits every fund holding Bitcoin through the ETFs. To be fair to them, Tether has shrugged off doubts like this for years, and it is still standing. So treat this as a risk, not as a certainty. But you can see how this slots into the chain. So this finally brings us to the last domino, and XRP itself. His argument is that when all of this hits, the world is going to need something that can move enormous amounts of money instantly and settle in seconds. Wonder what that sounds like. To stop the stock market and the currency markets from seizing up. He thinks that job lands on XRP. And he points out there is actually very little XRP sitting on exchanges to buy. So if a wave of new XRP funds and big institutional buyers all arrive at once, the price gets forced up hard. Then it starts getting used to settle the back end of the financial system.
I think that you're going to see an onslaught of XRP ETFs and a huge rotation of liquidity into that asset. There's not a whole lot left on exchanges at this point. It's very low liquidity for XRP on exchanges. And that would drive the price substantially higher, where they could then start using it to, settle the back end of the stock market.
Now, the obvious objection is that the math doesn't work. Okay, the XRP can never be worth that much. His comeback is sharp. He asks, what is the market cap of email? It is almost a nonsense question, right? Because email is a global network for moving information, and you do not price a network the way you price a company. He argues XRP is the same kind of thing, which is kind of real. A network for moving value. And on that logic, he says a price like $1,000 a coin is, in his words, quite possible. A perfect storm, he thinks, is likely to play out. So that is the full chain. And I told you I would show you where it breaks. Here it is. He himself calls it a theory, not perfect science. And that honestly actually matters. The macro dominoes are real. The cheap money in Japan, the strain on the government debt, the central banks reaching for gold. Those are all generally happening. But the back half, XRP becoming a top tier global asset and running all the way to $1,000, that rests on a stack of ifs that every single one have to land. He even admits other networks could do something of the same work. So the engine is real. Whether it ever drives XRP to 4 figures is the bet that you're all being asked to make. And that's the honest place to leave it. This is an argument, not a prediction, and definitely not financial advice. I'm not telling you XRP is going to $1,000. What I am telling you is that the machine he's describing, the part that lives outside of crypto, is already moving. And the people who get hurt the most in a repricing like this are the ones holding with no plan at all. The lesson here is not the price target. The lesson is to understand the machine before it moves and to position yourself instead of trying to predict. Because the dominoes do not care whether you're ready for them. So there you go, guys. Let's bring it home. $1 billion money manager said XRP could hit $1,000. And for once, reasoning is worth hearing out. A cheap loan in Japan that the whole world quietly leaned on, a pile of government debt that suddenly nobody wants to hold, central banks reaching for gold, and at the end of the chain, an asset built to move money that instantly the old system seizes up. The macro part is real and already in motion. The $1,000 part is a bet. Your job is not to swallow it whole or laugh it off. It's to understand it well enough to decide for yourself and to be in position either way. And I think you already know which asset I would be watching. As always, guys, stay bullish.